What you think and how you think matters. Ultimately, our thoughts drive everything. But unfortunately, our emotions at times get in the way of us being able to maintain positive and optimistic thoughts, fearless thoughts, courageous thoughts, the types of thoughts that really produce something of value. So today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the emotion that we have and something called emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is really the ability or capacity to perceive your own emotion, to be aware of emotion when you're having it, to be able to understand that emotion, to reason with that emotion, and then to manage that emotion in yourself, and then ultimately in the people around you. Emotional intelligence is a very, very important element of evolution as human beings. Most people think that people in the world who are smarter or have higher IQs, they're the people who tend to do better in life. But ultimately, research is telling us that it's not your intellect that really makes the difference. It's the way that you manage your emotion. It's how you process the information that you have. Certainly IQ is important, but if you're a really smart person and you're constantly being triggered and angry and you can't assimilate your thoughts and you can't interact with other people, it's very difficult to succeed in life, hold a job, stay in a relationship, to do the things that most people do. So emotional intelligence is a very, very important topic, and it's one that I spend quite a bit of time with my clients in assisting them, one, in understanding it, and then two, in increasing what I call their internal capacity or their emotional intelligence. So real quickly, the different techniques that you can use to increase your level of emotional intelligence is first, develop awareness, personal awareness. What that means is you're paying attention to the things in your world that trigger you and upset you, set you off. And in that moment, you're paying attention to your personal experience, how you feel. And I'm talking about physically how you feel. Your chest is tight, your heart is pumping, your face is flushed, your muscles are tense type of experience. And then you simply ask the question, what am I feeling and why? Ultimately, if you do this and you practice this, over time, two things will happen. One, you'll become less reactive in the moment, and two, over time, you'll be less triggered by these events that used to trigger you quite greatly. So that's the first thing that you would practice. The second, relative to managing your emotion, and we talked about this in some of the segments that I've done before, it's to breathe. I call it meditation, but here I'm just going to call it breathing. Taking a deep breath. If you start to see or experience something in your life where you're feeling that adrenaline, you simply take a deep breath, hold it, and then release it. From a physiological standpoint, it will absolutely assist you in relaxing in that moment. If you do it regularly, and I call it, it's a form of meditation, you'll find that you have more capacity to deal with whatever complexity is coming at you, whatever events that used to trigger you in some way. You'll be less sensitive. You'll see that. The second thing is to create timeouts for yourself. If you're in a situation where you feel yourself beginning to escalate, simply remove yourself from the situation. Take a few minutes until you've come down a little bit, and then you re-engage. And the third is to observe and to reduce negative self-talk. To me, that's probably one of the most important things that anybody can do, is to observe when they're having a negative dialogue in their head and to either begin to repeat a mantra that is a positive mantra, or simply change the dialogue in your mind. For me, I go with mantra because changing the dialogue can prove to be very difficult. But either way, both works. So emotional intelligence, very important to understand what it is, to see how you're affected by your own emotion, and to practice these little simple things to increase your emotional quotient. If you do, you'll be glad you did. Remember, what you think and how you think is ultimately what matters. Your emotion can impede your ability to do that in a fearless, courageous, and optimistic way. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time.